Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're back in my little old hometown. Man, I wish I could find something around here that would kind of tell me a signage or what this town was called. I can put it on video. What do you think? Do you think there's anything around here that's got a sign on it? Oh, I'm not for sure. We'll figure out somewhere. But yeah, we're back in Arkansas. If you didn't notice, this was my old hometown for 37 years. But we have moved off and now living in the bus. So the road is our hometown. But man, Zen, where's the sign at? I think I saw one. Let's go look for a sign to see what town we're in. And this section through here was the old Spot Theater back in the days. It is now a beauty salon, and I want to show you what's inside the Spot Theater if I can find this little area right here. Is an old, I don't know for sure what this even is, but let's look inside. There it is. There is always a kitty cat right there. That cat has been here for 2 or 3 years in this building. Oh, they got two cats. There used to be one, now there's two. But these kitty cats have been in here, and I don't know what they actually do in here. There's no names, there's no signs, and nobody really knows. But maybe it's just somebody's, office. But the kitty cats are on patrol. That's a new one in the chair. I think this one on the floor is the older one. They both look real friendly. All right, what do you think about that, buddy? Look here. They're looking at Zen the dog. All right, let's continue on around. Here's where the one usually sits at. There you go. It's got a basketball thing, not for sure. There's the other one. All right, they're always in there. And this building on the corner is Olive and Opal Art Gallery and Wine Bar. And I'm going to be pushing these because this one is owned by the daughter of my daughter's in-laws. So kind of related to them. So push them a little better. So we're going to walk on around. We got a creek that goes through this town. This is Sager Creek. And a little history on this. This creek flooded, I think, in 1974 and basically devastated the entire downtown. It was under, I think about, if I look over here in these buildings, I think it was up to the bottom of the top of the first windows. It flooded and caused a lot of damage. And the areas you walk through, you'll see empty spaces. And that's where the buildings used to be. But they basically were washed away or eroded and they just tore them down. So we're going to continue on walking here in the little town. Oh, I found one. Look here. Siloam Springs. That's right. That's what we're in downtown Siloam Springs, Arkansas. I'll give you a little walkthrough and then we'll give you some information on this little old hometown of mine. As soon as we get the dog to move, he's under a lot of smells. We haven't been here for years, so he's got a lot of things to get caught up on. And there's all kinds of new stores. This is a typical, old downtown that's been revamped into, shops and things, which is good because for many years, this was downtown was empty, dried up, empty buildings. The sidewalks were rolled up. Now, it happened here, but now it's revitalized, and it's the old downtown. These other old buildings. And we'll continue on walking here. Okay, here we go. Heart and Home, Decor and Gifts. It's a Sunday afternoon, so everything is pretty much closed. And this little town also, for some reason on Mondays, likes to have everything closed, but that's how it goes. Across the street is the old post office, built in 1937. Now it's a Fat Tire bike shop. Different places. I know a lot of people that have businesses down here, like the Downtown Dance Studio. Known them for years. Been part of the community for 37 years, working in town for 37 years, having my own business in this town for 6 years, and just a lot of people. We know a lot of people. And here's some of the local artwork that's been put up. Most downtowns or old towns will have you know murals or art, so we've got a little bit of both. Typical. At the end of this street, a lot of one-way streets in this town. End of this street is the fire station. One of the three fire stations. It's the old downtown fire station that used to be back in the 30s and 40s. That was a three-story building that housed the hospital and the library and the fire station in the bottom. As you can tell, things go through and buildings get torn down, but remodeled into a smaller fire station now. But you got a lot of the old buildings have been redone. Here's one that's empty right now. All you can see is me walking in there. Ice cream shop. This is fairly new, probably the last 6 or 7 years. Pure Joy Ice Cream. Little homemade ice cream shop. And just walking down downtown. Local university in town, John Brown University, Christian University, and they have their own radio station. So they've been around since I think 1929. So they've been here a couple of years. Hold on, let's go on back. Got the birds roosting above. And this is a fairly new bakery. It's hard to see inside these windows, glass, but you can kind of get an idea. There we go. Local little bakery store. And we'll go away from the glass. Ew, there he goes. Closed Sunday and Monday. And different things. On the corner here is a little barber shop. There's City Barbershop. That has cut a lot of hair. They've been here for, goodness gracious, I don't know how long. But we'll peek in there real fast too. You can see the typical old barber shops, Yep, that's it. We'll walk around the old buildings. There used to be a Chamber of Commerce building. That was across the street. Used to be a hospital and a girls' dorm, and as things go along, things just change all the time, so it's hard to keep up. And this bank, yeah, that's been in business for like, I don't know, 100 years. It wasn't our best bank all the time. It was another bank, but that's been there a long time. And somewhere in there, the story is, let me get around this pole, it was back in the 30s, when they had a lot of bank robbers and, Bonnie and Clyde and John Dillinger and, Pretty Boy Floyd or whatever, Babyface Nelson, all those guys and gals. There was a bank hold up here, and there was a shootout. So somewhere in that building, there's a couple bullet holes on the outside. So, but it's been here a long time. And we're going to walk on down towards this way. This is another old, this was a building I used to work out of, which was a gas company for here for like, I don't know, 70 years in the same spot. And this is one of my, and the only brewery in Siloam Springs, run by some friends of ours we went to church with, Ivory Bill Brewing. We've been in business for about, I think, 5 or 6 years now. So, and right next to them is my favorite coffee shop, Poor John's Coffee and Bagels and Waffles. They've been in business here in this area for about, I think, 9 or 10 years. And we knew the family that had it before. Their names, well, their son's name was John. So that's why it's got the name Poor John's. This is like a nice outside patio area. And they've really increased their size and their presence in the town. So they're really a well-known coffee shop. This town is, in this whole area, is well known for chicken production, and Simmons has been around for many, many, many years. They're a chicken producer, as well as Cobb. Cobb is worldwide egg laying and chicken producing. So this whole corner of the state is just a lot of chicken growers and chicken houses and chicken businesses and you name it. We here in this town, you know, work off the chickens. All right, had to turn the camera off because the dog just runs out, so I got to watch him as he goes across the street. Here's the old community building, built in I think 1929. A lot of the old towns have community centers. And then there's our one of our health unit annexes and some old buildings. And this white building on the corner is the Crown Hotel. Been here since 1885. And, you know, kitchenettes, well, now it's apartments and different things, but it's been the oldest buildings in this town, I think. One of the oldest buildings, especially one of the oldest businesses still working. Of course, different owners, but, you know, we got the typical gazebos. I think there's two in town. This one dates back from the late 1800s. Of course, it's been remodeled a couple times, but we're going to walk over towards the creek, as I mentioned. But this is the area here they have their festival every April, called the Dogwood Festival, because this tree and many others, a lot of dogwood trees in this area. So they call it the Dogwood Festival. It's been going on for like 30 plus years. We're going to walk over towards the creek and get a view of the water and around. And this old building, an old hotel from the 1880s, and now it's a restaurant, as many small towns have done, but still in pretty decent shape. There's the back of the hotel with apartments, etc. And these are all at one time, you know, little shops back here. There's little cafes on the corner and, you know, different kind of shops. And up the end of this building was a produce shop and etc. Oh, the history has changed and things have moved on. But here, as I walk by, this was my old, not this white building, but the one beside it, was my old restaurant I had. And after I sold it and got out, of course, yeah, the new owners, they took over, you know, ran it for a while and then locked it up. So now it's for sale, which is sad. Completely furnished with all the everything in it, all the kitchenware. They still got the tea jugs on the counter, so it's ready to open back up. It's just basically locked up. You know, the outside patio, tables and chairs, and everything's just locked up. So that's how it goes. I got to show you one exciting thing up here. This is a newer version. It's been here about 10 years. Used to be an old lumber yard right here. But what's in it now is a little more exciting. You might get a view of the idea of what's in it from what's parked out front. Yep, Motorworks, sales and consignment. We're going to peek in this window here. You can already see, but look at there. A building full of Porsche, BMWs, Ferraris. You know, there's lots of stuff in there. And I've known the owner of this one for several years, so really good people. And if you need to buy a sports car, look them up. And it's not just all sports cars. Look at here. There you go. An old Impala. And old Porsches. But yep, nice place. Yeah, it's like I said, middle of October here, and the leaves are still green. They're just starting to turn a little bit, so we'll catch fall round number 2. We saw all the aspen trees in Utah basically lose their leaves, so now we get to watch them here in Arkansas. There's the creek down here. We'll walk down a little closer, but try to keep it pretty natural. This, you know, it has been redone, but all the rocks are, of course, not natural, but keep it from washing away. And this section be here, this is the old hotel I pointed out a few minutes ago, and back behind this building was an old feed mill for 60 years. And this whole area was a blacksmith shop and a horse corrals and feed mills, feed stores. Matter of fact, my old restaurant building was a feed store for like 70 years. So yeah, things change. You don't need too many horses anymore in all the blacksmithing or the feed. So now they're turning into antique malls. There's another view of the creek with some old bridges. And this is really pretty in the fall because all these trees, turn red and orange and yellow, and it just looks really nice. Maybe we'll be here long enough to catch some of that before we head out. In this little town of Siloam Springs, you used to have 28 springs at one time, and back in the 1800s and 1900s, most everybody thought that the springs were healing powers, but not anymore. Yep, don't drink the water by order of the health department. The springs are very few that are still flowing, and those that are, you don't want to drink the water because, as I mentioned, a lot of chicken production around this area, which means, yep, chicken waste, and it gets in the ground. So be careful if you're in this area drinking spring water. Make sure you got a good filter. It can be done, but filter it, and filter it wisely. We're going to walk this way towards the creek. Some old pathways built, like 1911 or something. Been here a long time. Yep, 1911. I was right, because I've walked up that many times. Zoom in here. Whoop, there it is. and the people who constructed it and the town people, 1911. And then we'll work our way back to over here. So this view of the creek here. It does an old, basically flat top dam that holds the water back. And this area over here by the dam is where Zen has stepped off twice into the creek. Usually this is areas in the fall when these leaves fall, fills up with a lot of leaves. So he looks like, solid ground, but it's not. And when a dog steps in it, it goes through it. This is the area behind the fire station, which has been remodeled, but it used to be back in the heydays. This was a boating area. They had a swimming pool back there. You used to swim in the creek, and they had paddle boats. And in the wintertime, the creek would freeze over, and then they would have ice skating on it. So I don't think it's frozen over since I've been here. If it has, it's been for a very short time and not very deep to go ice skating on. The big tree in front of us is a eucalyptus tree. And when that thing turns colors, it is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. I mean, just bright yellow. So it's got a few more weeks before it turns yellow, but it is fully loaded with these humongous bright yellow eucalyptus leaves. And then they all fall off quickly. And I am sorry, I thought this was eucalyptus, but I forgot. It's a ginkgo biloba. Yeah, it's got these, those kind of shaped leaves. So it's not eucalyptus, it's a ginkgo tree. And look at all the mess it makes, but it is beautiful when it does turn, no matter what it's called. I'm gonna do a long shot. Across the street is an old building, and behind it is Creekside Tap Room. It's a little beer room, local Arkansas brews. It's also owned by my daughter's in-laws, and my son is the head bartender. So, like to promote local. I had to turn the camera off. All these little four-cylinder cars that want to sound like they're eight-cylinder cars coming by. And with these buildings down here, it just echoes. So you can get a good mini roar off your exhaust. That's what I mentioned about towns with all the noise. Decorate for Halloween. It's coming up. Even the light pole gets decorated, or the clock pole. This has been set up for the last few years, so, come take the pictures and make it feel like put it on your Halloween card or Christmas card or whatever you want. A little town called Siloam Springs, Arkansas. Population right now about 2,200, give or take. When I moved here, it was 11,000, so it's grown some in the last 37 years. Not really crazy amount, but it's grown. And it was founded back in the late 1880s, and it was also known at that time as Hico, Hico, and was later changed to Siloam Springs due to the amount of springs in the area, as I mentioned, that were thought to have medicinal purposes and healing powers. And Siloam, of course, is from the pool of Siloam from the Bible. So the very religious area, like I said, we have a Christian university here, and it's in the Bible Belt, so it's very steep back in the religion of the United States. And it was founded back in like the 1880s by a German immigrant, and their house is still up on the hill, still here. It's been remodeled a couple times, but it's the old German house, they call it. His name was Simon Sager. And he's also got a cabin too by the university that was known as Sager Cabin. That was, I think, the original dwelling at that time. It's been of course, redone and put up there. But yeah, it's a small town. Like I said, over here in the northwest corner of Arkansas. We'll give you some layout. This way is the home of Walmart, Bentonville, 45 minutes away. Back behind me, that way, home of the Arkansas Razorbacks, University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. Back to this way is the Springdale, which is known for the chicken producers. Tyson's is the big one over there. Tyson's is worldwide known for chicken production, and there's 2 or 3 others over there. And then what else is there? Oh, that way to the north is Missouri, about 25 minutes away. And back to the west, if I had a rock, I could throw and hit Oklahoma. Just about. We're a border town. Separate Arkansas and Oklahoma by the town and the state line. But that's a little town we lived in. And no longer, so we're come back to visit and take care of some business and visit some friends, and family still lives here. Part of them do, and that's what we're here for. And we're going to stay here long enough to see the leaves turn, and we'll maybe get some more videos out on different types of the seasons. So we're not going to leave here till probably close to the middle of November, and it should be in full swing by then, all the colors. So we'll see what happens. And this whole downtown area, of course, is typical fountains and water, and this one's been rebuilt a couple times. This fountain has. So it's also, weddings are held down here, and prom meetings and pictures and everything. It's got gardens, another gazebo, and as I mentioned, weddings were held down here. And with many small towns, churches were a big thing, and this was built in 1920. Different styles of architecture too, as most of them, not always the same. So very interesting. Well, I found it's hard to film in a town that I used to live in. People coming up to us, and people I know, and people walk around. But we're going to look into this Atom Atomic, which is a candy store. It was not open before I left, so we're going to definitely come back here because I'm a sucker for suckers and candy. So let's go in here and look around. Oh, we're not go up here. It's closed today. It's Sunday. Here we go. Now we're talking. Look at here. Oh, look at all the sweet stuff in there. Woo! Wow. Yeah, we'll come back here before we leave and get us some candy, because I do like some candy. Looks like a lot of it's not chocolate, so it's going to be all the, the atomic hard candy, etc. So, which is not too bad. There's, I would say, taffy for $12.99 a pound. We'll see. And we have made it back to where we started on this first round of the video, so we'll end it here. And look, the back of the brewery, Ivoryville Brewery. There's no telling where you'll find Sasquatch. It's bolted to a wall in Arkansas. Sunsets are usually pretty nice through here. Get up high enough you can see over the town and go from there. So we'll say thanks for watching this episode. We'll continue with more. See you guys around the town.